Hospital porters' pride and dignity stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. Welcome to me in this. Welcome to this place. Pardon me. This place, this house I'm in right now, with these lovely tomato plants behind me, as you can see. I'm actually in somebody else's house at the moment because I'm doing a job. It's a residential job, which is basically like domestic work, security, and of course looking after their dog. So that's my job at the moment. And as a result, I'm in a position now where I'm actually going to make a video, which I hadn't originally planned to do, but I've suddenly discovered something that means I'm going to do it. Now, I don't have to do it right now, but I think now is a convenient time. In fact, it's probably a good idea to get this done because it involves a walk down the river, and it's based on the river. That's the River Thames, or the ISIS as we call it in Oxford. And I think it's important to get this done before the winter floods come, because when that happens, you forget it. You know, that the riverbank all the way almost as far as bloody Teddington is impassable. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to go head there and do that now. So seeing I've got some time off. So if you care to accompany me, we shall go there. I don't know how many of you read Nexus magazine, or easier question, how many of you don't read Nexus magazine? I think it's like a woo-woo essential. This is kind of like the newspaper or journal of record for the woo-woo movement, I think. This is in August, September 2024, volume 31, number 5. And it's the occult Nikola Tesla, peeling back the legend, quote unquote, layers of a scientific genius. This is interesting, actually. Now, I say interesting, I didn't like it very much, I think it's unfair, but check out this line here, here we go. All permeate the thinking of devotees of today's Tesla cult. It doesn't really matter that no physical demonstrations have ever been made of these grandiose associations. That's referring to things he wrote before. By the great Nikola Tesla, the belief in these promises have come alive in the hearts of millions of his adoring followers today. Millions of his adoring followers who treat the Serbian wizard as nothing less than a modern messiah figure. Oh my goodness me. These are the words of a backslapper. The author of this article, whose name is Matthew Ehret, now he writes a lot of stuff for Nexus actually, Matthew Ehret, is clearly a backslapper. Those words are pure backslapperhood. And one of the things backslappers love to do is they love to be iconoclasts. Whenever someone appears in the conspirasphere or the wooersphere who is like really admired and respected and everyone loves them, the backslappers love nothing more than to come along and say, and to sort of like trash their name and say, no, they're bad people really. You see this with backslappers all the time. They have to, as soon as someone's widely respected, a backslapper will come along and say you shouldn't be respecting that person, and they're not as good as you think they are, and only really clever people like me, the backslappers like me, have the intelligence to see this and the courage to face up to it. So yeah, I think this guy's a backslapper. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that really, when it comes to the media, like print media, you only need 2 journals: Nexus magazine and 14 Times. Everything you need to know about the world you'll find in the pages of these 2 publications. These are the only 2 periodicals you need. Forget all the others. Okay guys, well, welcome to the Megtow Bridge. I'm sure you remember this, and as you can see, Booth Illicit's graffiti is still there. It's fading slightly now after all these years. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you must remember this quite well. Yeah, we're going to a place today called Sandford on Thames, which is actually about half an hour's walk from here, just down the river. And you'll see why this is going to be impossible when the floods hit, because this is just be underwater, or it'll either be completely underwater or it'll be a giant mud pit. So the only way you can get to Sandford any other way is by the road. Now, it's Sandford. It's got nothing to do with General John Sandford, by the way. You know, the guy who did that speech on TV long time ago, we're absolutely convinced that these have natural explanations, or they're hoaxes about the UFOs. You know, they are not aliens, etc., etc. So there's some boats over there. You see, it's a very lovely area, this, and this is the bit that Slacks, I thought, reminded him of the Langoliers. Oh, I did an entire video about that anyway. It's a bit of a HPANWO TV history here. So I'm going to walk down to Sandford and make a video. Now, Sandford's a lovely place actually, it's a little village just south of Oxford. Lovely riverbank place. They've got a lovely pub there called the King's Arms, and it's the Red Lion. It's got a very ordinary name, I can't remember what the bloody name is. But anyway, it's worth going to. It's right by the lock, and that's actually where we're heading. We're heading for that very spot near it. And you'll find it very, very interesting, I think, what we're going to go and see. It's something I only discovered yesterday, and when I found out, it really, really surprised me. It's quite a nice day. Bit of high cloud, a few chemtrails, very thin cloud, the sun poking through. It's only like about 7:30 in the morning, but already it's t-shirt weather, so it's probably going to be quite a hot day. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this nice little walk down to Sandford. Okay, that's where we're heading over there. We're heading for that structure there. I'll show you is when we get there, but it's not far actually. It's actually quite close. If you're in walking mood, it's like half an hour's walk probably. Less than, I said an hour. It's less than that. All right, guys, here we are. This is the first part of where we're going to go. What we're actually visiting, it's called the Sandford Hydro. It's actually a small hydroelectric plant, and it is just like I said, it's here in Sandford. Now, we just to give you a bit of geography. In fact, I'll do some studio work later and show you the actual location on a map and from above. We're now on the right bank of the Thames, the River Isis as we call it in Oxford. And over there is Sandford Island. Now, Sandford Island is actually, I think it's 3 islands, and they're mostly like wetlands and parks. And then and you go over to on the other side of that is the weir, and there's the lock. And on there, so that's where you get the Red Lion or King's Arms, and that lovely pub I told you about. And it begins with a fishway. Now, this is a fishway is very interesting, because the problem with weirs and things like that and dams of various kinds is that fish have nowhere to go, and sometimes fish need to use the entire length of the river to reproduce. You know, the salmon swim upstream, they have sex and lay eggs, and then they die or something, or they go back. Some of them go back and do it again next year. And here, this is a fishway. It's a 400-foot long race here. It's like a long mini weir. It's like a bit like a weir. It's a 400-foot long race, and it's specially designed so that it's almost like a staircase for fish. So I don't want to be in. It's like a staircase for fish, so that the fish can easily sort of like. Fish can easily find their way around the weir, or around the weir and around the hydroelectric plant. As you can see here, it's got some rubbish. It's got some rubbish baffles here, and it's just as well because you can look at the crap accumulating on the far side. There's a plastic bottle over there, and the fish swim out through that gap, I assume, or underneath it maybe. But this goes along there for 400 feet and comes out the other side on the lower level, because there is like a head of water here, which is what drives this plant. I mean, this sort of technology is not new. It's been around long before. It's called hydroelectric, but it's been around long before there was any electric. I mean, in the very earliest civilizations, you know, in Roman times they had like water wheels to run a mill and things like that. And indeed, right up in the Middle Ages and beyond, they had water wheels and other things. Now, in the advent of electricity, they realised that that same power source could be attached to a dynamo and you could generate electricity. Ironically, this is actually gravity powered. It's the only form of energy that's actually gravity powered, because running water is caused by gravity. It's basically, you know, it falls and it sort of descends by the pull of gravity, drags it downwards towards the sea from a high ground into lakes and stuff like that, and that's gravity power, and that's what runs this machine here, and we're approaching it now. It's actually pretty small, 450 megawatts. It's actually a very, very small facility. It's community owned. There's a company called Low Carbon Hub, and yeah, I know, I'm going to have a rant about that later. It's called the Low Carbon Hub. and it's a, like I say, a locally community owned cooperative, but it generates 450 megawatts of electricity, and it's all inside there. I'll go around the other side and see if we can get a better look at it in a minute, but here's some information here. The Sandford Hydro, here we are. Total capacity of the installation, generates 1.6 gigawatt hours, 2 tons of 2 tons of CO2 emissions prevented on an average day. 500 homes could be powered by this electricity. And it talks about what it is. You can pause and read this. I've just given you a brief description. And this is when it was being built. It was started in 2011. It took till 2018 to finish it. There it is. You see, being built. That's interesting. Look, there it's been dug out, and that's the fish way being dug out. And then look, there's the housing for the turbines. The turbines are Archimedes screws. Basically, they're like corkscrew shaped things. They work like a corkscrew propulsor on a ship or boat. Except they work the other way around. The water drives the rotor rather than the other way around. And here's a diagram of it all. There's the weir. You can see the weir. That's just the normal weir over there, because there is like a change in water level here, and there's the lock as well for boats to pass through. And there's the fish pass. This encourages fish to migrate upstream beyond the lasher weir for the first time in 400 years. So the fish have been like trapped. It supports species salmon, sea trout, brown, water trout, eels, fast water course, yeah. Wildlife. Alongside the fish pass, there's an emphasis throughout the process ensuring there's no negative impact for local wildlife, ecosystems, etc. Here they are building it. They put a coffer dam around it so they could build it into the riverbed. And there it is. I don't remember this, and there's the Archimedes screw there. And this is the timeline of it all. You can pause and read that. The low carbon hub here. Do you remember I went to that Rose Hill low carbon hub thing? I went to watch that film, Merchants of Doubt, and review it, if you remember. And there you go. There we are. Just have a quick see. I don't know how much we can see it. That's the fish pass down there, and we'll go around the other side, see if we can get a better look at it from the other side. But that's as far as you can go because it's sealed off. But you can hear it running. You can hear the water going. I don't know if you can, but I can hear the water going through the turbines right now. I don't know what these two wires are across there, because there's a little net there. Do you see? There's kind of a net. Well, it's actually spider's web. Spiders are using it. Maybe that's what it's for. To encourage spiders. And there's the key thing. You can get in if you need to. But there you can see that's as far as we can go. But we'll go around the other side, see if we can get a look at it from the other side. Oh, there's absolutely horrible chemtrails today. Look at this. Disgusting. Really, really thick today, actually. And here is the fish pass. We're lower down on the fish pass now. And you can see it's very clear water. You can see the bottom there. And I don't know if you can see any fish. Well, it depends on the time of year when they actually seasonally migrate. Now the hydro somewhere over there. I don't know if we'll find it. Anyway, this is one bit I do approve of, actually. This fish pass I think is a great idea. The rest of it, I'll say more later. The regular viewers will know where I'm going to go with it, but we'll say more later about the rest of it. But there's, this is a good idea, and it helps the fish have access to more of the river than they had before. You know, there's this book by Arthur C. Clarke called Cradle. It was Arthur C. Clarke and Gentry Lee. It's one of the crappy ones that he co-authored with this guy Gentry Lee. They're all awful. He basically writes these interludes, and Gentry Lee writes the rest. Gentry Lee couldn't write to save his life. He's a NASA scientist. But there's this scene. I mean, there's one thing I'll never forget. When I first picked it up, the opening scene is like a prologue, and it takes place on this planet called Canthor. And I remember it's about this planet, and in this planet there's these beautiful sea serpents that sing, and they have these whistles, and they live in this ocean, and all the males live on one side and the females live on the other, and only when the tide comes high enough that it actually submerges part of the land can they actually meet each other, and they mate and have babies. and they do this for years and years, and then suddenly there's this ice age, and these creatures that are described as trolls emerge. I think they're designed to be a metaphor for the human race, and they build a wall so that the two oceans can't meet, and these poor sea serpents can't actually meet each other and mate and have babies. It's a horrible. I cried over. I don't often like weep over a book, but this one did make me cry. It's the first time I've wept over a book since I read Charlotte's Web. But it must be how these fish feel. Well, they did feel before this was built. You know. Anyway, there's the hydro over there. I don't know how close I can actually get to it. It could be I'm going to see it, but I'll try. I don't think you can get through here. No, it's not. There's no pathway here. But yeah, it's not a very good book. I mean, it's like, it could be about like a quarter of the length. It's filled with all kinds of irrelevant crap. So it's I wouldn't recommend it, but it's worth the prologue itself is just like really good. And Clark, the little bits that Clark writes. Yeah, I think they put his name on there just to sell the book. Gentry Lee does most of the writing. I mean, there's several books like this, you know, by so and so, really famous author who's got a good reputation, and with somebody else, and you work out, you read it, and you realise that the with person writes nearly all of it, and he's hopeless, and they just put the other author writes a couple of paragraphs here and there, and then they put his or her name on the cover, just to sell the bloody crap, and let make all the fans of that major author think it's a book that they'll like. It's very deceptive. Anyway, I'm going to go over this bridge and see if I can see it from the other side. Now, I don't know what this thing sticking out the ground is. It might date back to the construction of the hydro, or maybe something else. There's a stream. It's not a part of the fish course that goes down here. You know, I don't think we're going to be able to see it. No, I think it may be invisible from here. I'll just have another go. I can hear it. I can hear the fishway. Maybe you can too. Don't know how good the mic is on this thing. I haven't got my normal camera with me. I'm using my mobile phone because I didn't bring my regular camera because I didn't think I'd need it. Didn't expect to be making a video on this particular job, this task I've assigned myself, or been assigned. Ah, we can. Here we are. Right. And this is it from this side. Now what you see straight here, that's the regular weir. This here is the hydro. This is the hydroelectric generator. I don't know how much we're going to see of it, but it's got these bars here to stop boats going in there. That's where the fishway emerges, you see. And we go down here. I don't know what this tunnel thing is. Maybe it's one of those Israeli robot snakes that they've been putting in the tunnels in Gaza. There, oh yeah, see there's part of the Archimedes screw, I think. Currently that one's not running. There's that one in the middle is the only one running right now. And it says beware what? Beware strong currents. Yes. As opposed to strong black breeze or strong good breeze. No, joke. Oh, you go over there and you get onto Sandford Island, and then eventually you get over onto the lock and the King's Arms or Red Lion. I will actually do some studio work after to show you. But that's where it is. You see, there we are. And its security seems to be very tight. You see, there's like more barbed wire there. This is the roof of it. The far side was where we were earlier. I don't think there's much more to see here, actually. There's a lump stone left over from construction. But yeah, it's generating electricity for the local community. Is that a good or bad thing? Well, generating electricity is always a good thing. But is this really the best option? Ah, birdies. Geese. Right, well, this video is actually going to be very similar to one I made a number of years ago called Nuclear Fusion Power. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description box to my free energy portal, and from there you can access that video and others very similar to it. Now, the problem we have here, the problem with this issue is that we have essentially a form of licensed free energy or permitted free energy, and technically this is free energy. In fact, I even pointed on the irony, it's actually gravity powered, because the essential force comes from gravity. It comes from the movement of water through the turbines from a high level to a low level. It uses the head of water behind Sandford Weir, and as it flows through the turbines, it turns the turbines. That produces torque, which spins a dynamo that builds charge. So it's powered by gravity, unbelievably. And this is very like with this wind power, solar power. You see these big turbines sprouting up all over the country like some kind of trees from hell, and these solar panels everywhere covering land where so the sun can't get to the plants and things like that. And I just think to myself, it's a fallback position, because we know that the Illuminati occupation state is centered around, for reasons which I won't go into now because I've discussed them so many times before. It's centered on the use of fossil fuels, coal, gas, oil, etc. And that he's going out jogging. It's a good time in the morning to go jogging, but it's not too hot. And they need us to use those things because these things cost money. They can be rationed. That's the whole point. The fact they damage the environment and damage human health and civilization, it's essentially the same. It's the same basic energy we were using in the Stone Age, and we're kind of propping it up artificially in the modern age. Doesn't really matter. What matters is maybe it does matter that it does destroy the environment, maybe environment and human health, because of course the Illuminati want us to live an unnatural, broken, decrepit life, because that's how they get more power over us. That's how they eliminate those of us they want to eliminate, reduce our population, etc., etc. And maybe my video Energy, Politics and UFOs is very interesting. In fact, I recommend that video specifically if you want a background into this subject. And or read my books, Roswell Rising and Novel of Disclosure, and its 2 sequels, because that comes out in that. It's all about that in there. Yeah. So I actually would say definitely in my view, definitely watch those videos. Someone's just texted me, so I just got I got a message that appeared in the viewfinder saying someone has texted me. This is good. Yeah, that's quite good. But there's another doggy, some guy walking his dog. That's a good. There's lots of people. It's a lovely area actually to do this sort of thing. But of course, a rising awareness of environmentalism among people, I believe it's misplaced in many, many ways. With Greta Thunberg going, "Oh, dare you?" Because it focuses 100% on the elimination of a certain natural gas, which is an essential part of the Earth's atmosphere. Of course, the reason for that is, of course, so they can then hyper-regulate the economy, shut down industry, send us back to farming methods and things like that. I'm going to have to just stop this. I'm going to have to just carry on in a moment, because what I have to do, because I'm using my mobile phone, I can't, if it gets more than 5 minutes long, and the files get too big, and I can't really, too big really to handle, so I'll just stop for a moment and come back to you. There we are, very brief pause. So, yeah, I've got so the word is that at some point they said, well, look, we're going to have to allow these minions, these sheeple. I've got to go this way. That's it. I'm going the wrong way. This way. That's the bridge over to. You can actually walk to the pub from here, to the lock from here. That takes you over to Sandford Island, then along it and over to the lock. At some point they said, well, look, we're going to have to fall back and allow some kind of free energy to be used. What they've permitted is that which is totally impractical. It cannot replace fossil fuels. So therefore it still allows them that control. Secondly, it also in its own way is very bad for the environment. Wind turbines kill bats and birds and things like that. well, I mean, they've got the fish parts now, but these hydroelectric things, you know, they've done, well, not that one, because it's a very, very small scale operation. But look at the Three Gorges Dam. You know, you're familiar with this is, I mean, hydroelectric facilities, they vary an awful lot in size. And there's some very small ones, like the Sandford Hydro, and some are much bigger. And I mean, the Three Gorges Dam is in China, and it is enormous. It is absolutely enormous. But look what it's done. Look what it's done to the environment. It's caused the extinction of the Chinese river dolphin, a unique species of freshwater dolphin. And so, in a sense, it's a trade-off. You know, we'll give you this, and it's not free energy. I mean, I don't think the bills, you know, your bills won't be any lower if you're using solar, wind, or water power, because the overheads make up for the fact that it's the actual source of the energy itself is free. The overheads are so large, it kind of makes up for that. So it's as broad as it's long. But of course, there are other forms of power that do work, and we're talking about, you know, the John Searle and his effect. Funny enough, I'm listening to Stephen Cambion of all people on these. I've been listening to Stephen Cambion interviewing this guy about John Searle, and they bring up Stephen Greer and his stuff, and his like rather dubious free energy projects. But I mean, despite the fact that these aren't the most trustworthy people in the world, well, Greer, I don't Searle, not Searle, but Greer. The fact is that Greer and several other these people are not the most trustworthy in the world doesn't escape from the fact that free energy systems have been invented, they've been created. People like Eugene Malov, the guy who invented the water power car, what's his name? He'll come to me in a minute. John Hutchison, of course, the Hutchison effect. You may be familiar with Dr. Judy Wood and what she's discovered. And you know, and these people were, and of course Victor Schauberger. Now, funny enough, Victor Schauberger did find a way of using water for power, but the power didn't come from gravity. The power came from the water itself. And what happened to these people? Well, Schauberger had to flee Austria because then he wouldn't work for the Nazis. Eugene Malov fell off a moving train. Brewster Palmer shot in a mugging when nothing was taken from him. The guy with the water power car poisoned while eating at a restaurant. How many others have had heart attacks or convenient accidents? You know, they get rid of you. They get rid of you and they suppress your invention. Like my character, John Fraser in my in the Obscurati Chronicles, my serial. He has many real-life counterparts. And so these involve things such as the control of gravity, the generation of electricity out of nothing, out of the zero-point field, the power of water, inherent energy within water, as Schauberger discovered, and various other things that these inventors have created. Nikola Tesla, who's now feeling the edge of the backslapper's ire, as I showed you earlier. It's quite appropriate. I've just read that article. These people, Tesla was, you know, despite the fact what that backslapper says, Tesla was destroyed. Just got to change files again. And the reason is that these inventions are sequestered by the government, and then they won't let us have it, because if we had it, we wouldn't need them. We'd be free of them. And they couldn't have their new world order in a world of free energy. It's antithetical to that. As you know, there's that famous passage. I'm not going to read it now. In my book, Roswell Rising: A Novel of Disclosure, available all good bookshops now, price £10. Where Caxton is saying to Klein, you know, he said, we will never allow them to have this technology. And Klein goes, why? He said, well, why should we? Just imagine what would happen if we gave them this power. Just imagine what would happen if we gave ordinary people the ability to make energy out of nothing. No more electricity bills, no more environmental destruction, no more poverty. Just think of it. And of course, the connection to UFOs is that some of this technology comes from the examination of the wreckage of crashed
extraterrestrial spacecraft. Some of it comes from that, the Roswell incident, which is one of many similar incidents. Some of this technology has been discovered or by back engineering those craft. Those craft. Some people even claim that the aliens leave them for us as gifts to see what we'll do with them as some kind of test. Well, if so, we failed the test abysmally, because all that happens is the state gets hold of it and then they keep it for themselves and don't let us have it. I don't know why the aliens bother. Don't go giving the bloody Illuminati occupation state technology aliens, for goodness sake. There's a railway over there, you might be able to hear it. I'm almost back at the Megtow Bridge now. I'm getting close. So that's the connection. That's the prime reason for UFO secrecy, actually. I mean, there's many reasons for UFO secrecy, but this is like probably the biggest. Is the energy issue? The fact that they have this. Look at that. There's like a platform over there. That's nice, isn't it? And there's like a platform, and it's got a flag. Hey, I've seen loads of those flags everywhere. I'm going to the protest next on Saturday, so please do come to that if you can. Video, which will be an All Tech exclusive. So this lovely little Langoliers place. I've nearly walked all the way back, which is nice. So really, I'm sure that the people who built this, the Sandford Hydro, meant well. But what is it? What's the point of it? In a sense, it's perpetuating a myth. The very fact that people have built it, they're saying, well, this is the alternative. And it's not the alternative. And the people, probably through not knowingly, I'm sure they're not malicious people, but they have participated in this fraud. And that's frustrating. And this conspiracy needs to come to an end. It needs to stop. Yeah. There's some cows over there, aren't they lovely? Oh, I think someone wants me to do another job, which I won't be able to do today, I don't think, but I will possibly able to tomorrow. So here. Hello, cow. How are you? Yeah. I can think of some. I'm sure I can think of some kind of slightly ironic and misogynistic joke right now, if I was in that frame of mind, if I was the kind of person who would do such a thing, because we have cows, and just over there is the Megtow Bridge. Can you see it? There we are. There's the cows, and in the background is the Megtow Bridge. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go do some studio work now, and let's have a look at the Sandford Hydro from above, shall we? You get a better look at it if you see it on the maps.
Right, guys, so this is where I've been. This is Oxford, and we're going down here to the south of the city, to this little village here in the south called Sandford-on-Thames. Let's show you where we are. Now, this is the area. This is Sandford here. All right, and the pub is just around about here. Oh, I hate this place. I'm using my laptop. King's Arms, that's what it was. I know it was either the Red Lion or the King's Arms. It's really, really good if you've never been there. But anyway, there's some bridges that lead across to Sandford Island. It's actually 2 islands. It's called Sandford Island, and you can also get across on the bridge there and walk along this pathway here. Now, where we are going here, this is actually on the far side. It's on the far side of the river from Sandford, on the right bank, and it's officially part of Kennington, which is this town here to the left of the screen, and we're going here. Here we go. Oops, come on in. And here we are, Sandford Hydro. Okay, so this here is the fish. This is the fish pass. There, it goes right the way through there along there, and comes out 400 feet long. Comes out behind. This is where the machine is. This is the upper level of the river, and you can see this is high. This level is higher than that, and there's the weir. So there's like a drop, and then it's the, and here's the lower part of the river. And this here is, you can see the Archimedes screws. Do you see them? There's 3 Archimedes screws. And that is the beach we were standing on there. And there's that long Israeli robot snake thing. We were literally standing there earlier and looking across at here These are community screws. So that is the Sandford Hydro. As you can see, it's a very, very small, modest affair compared to much larger hydroelectric projects. Even within the British Isles, there are much larger, more ambitious projects than this. But you know, for a small local location here, just on the river like this, it's actually quite an achievement. Although you know, as I've explained, you know, it's pointless. It's useless. It's a frivolity. It's really keeping people fixated on a false solution to a problem. In the case of carbon emissions, it's a non-existent problem. In the case of the environment generally, it's a real problem. So I hope this video will help maybe break through that haze.
So that was great. That's an interesting video. Hope you enjoyed it. My next video will probably be the Alt-Tech exclusive about the Day for Freedom in London, but that'll probably be the one after this one. There's also, of course, the Dorset Earth Mysteries group. I had a great time there, and I have made a video, helped by Neil Ward. Well, in the meantime, thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.